Hello everyone, and welcome to the Completionist Progress 2020 update video. So I decided to do a standalone video like I did in 2018 instead of just putting it at the start of the video like I did for 2019, because I have a fair bit to go over and I do not trust myself to keep this brief. So yeah, let's just jump into it with my goals. So over the past year I had a lot of goals I wanted to try and get done in, 2019. And I achieved a fair amount of them. I got 99 agility, 99 magic, 220 total, 90 plus, or 90 skill average, or no, all skills level 90 or higher. Already messing this up. I also managed to get a mutagen, the dark claws, and crossbow, and technically I got the golden tench. It was on Twisted League, but I got it. Yeah, it doesn't really count, but I got it. So, the main thing is, now what happens? Because, it's in the last couple episodes I got 90 agility and 220 total. So, where do I want to go from there? So, my goals for 2020 are mainly the ones I didn't get to in 2019, which are stuff like finishing up the 99 combats, like attack, strength, defense, ranged. I didn't get to them. And I actually even added in a prayer. I don't think defense was in there before, but that was also like a maybe, because that one's a lot further off. But depending on how much I play, I can probably get to that one. And I did also change a few other goals. There's still the old goals of like the Champions Challenge, try and get some boss bets like Mole and KBD. Also, I really do want to try and finish Wintertide with Pyromancer, and as mentioned a bit ago, I don't have the golden tench on here, so aerial fishing is still something I need to get around to. And also Tithe Farm, which is partly why I avoided in Twisted League, because I do not want to do it that much. I barely want to do it on here, I wasn't going to do it on there. And I did also tweak some of the goals I had. Like, I'm not doing a year review in the comments this time, but I know I had some goals like complete a certain percentage of the collection log or defeat every boss but Zuck or stuff. And that's not stuff I'm really super interested in this year. But there's some other goals I'm working on in its place. But there are a couple big things to discuss. And the first one is the Diary Cape. Now, this has been a goal since pretty much I started this series. Every year I've been trying to go after the Diary Cape, and I still haven't managed to do it. They even came out with a new diary, and I still haven't managed to do it, because the one task that's been delaying me for so long is getting 93 Slayer for the Thermonuclear Smoke Devil, because you need that for the diary. So, that's been the problem. And it's for two reasons. The first is that I want to do 250 Wilderness Slayer tasks before going back to normal Slayer, which meant I got pretty slow Slayer experience. And I'm currently on my 201st task, not first, and it's Spiders, which means Venenatus. But, I'm really not that interested in Wilderness Slayer right now. Like, I know I set up all my blocks and I really did want to go for 250 tasks, but at the moment it's just not in a good state. There was the Bounty Hunter update a few months back now, and I was saving up all the emblems until I hit the 250 tasks, because I did one round of 50 tasks, another round of 50 tasks, so this round was 150 tasks. And I had like 100 emblems, which was worth like 20 mil. But because of the update, I just end up having to cash them out for like 4 mil of just junk in the shop, so that was really demotivating, and from what I've heard, the Laren's keys do not make up for the loss of the emblems, and while I wasn't doing it for profit per se, it is just kind of disappointing that, it's not as good as it used to be, pretty much. And I don't know if I really want to continue it, and I'm kind of leaning towards I don't. Like, I think I might just end up going back to normal Slayer, but I still have time to decide that. But that's kind of why it's bottlenecking Slayer. The second reason is the Rapier. The Grazi Rapier, however you say that. Yeah, I feel like that was off and I don't know how to correct it right now, so let's just ignore it and just call it the Rapier. So, before I go back to Slayer, I really want to get some gear upgrades, mainly the Rapier, the Avernic Defender, and also the Lance, because I plan to do Konar and there's a lot of Dragon tasks there. The problem is, I don't have that much money. So, yeah. And I'm not sure how the prices will go, because the Nightmare is coming out in a couple weeks, and the Mace should rival the Rapier, so it might go down, but so far it has no signs of going down. So pretty much I was hoping to make money through Wilderness Slayer to hopefully afford that stuff so I can go back to normal Slayer and, do it better. But I'm just not sure what I want to do right now, because if I do, go back or decide I don't want to do Wilderness Slayer, well then what do I do about not having the rapier? I mean, I don't need the rapier, but it's something I wanted. So I'm just really not sure how to handle Slayer right now. It's in a bit of an awkward state because I'm not that interested in Wilderness Slayer, but I'm not really ready to go back to normal Slayer, so we'll have to wait and see. But that's the big bottleneck with the Diary Cape, and why it's still in my plans for this year. I just do not know how to proceed with it. So, yeah. And also, I still need to kill the Mimic for the Music Cape. I just have horrible Mimic luck. I didn't even get one in Twisted League either. And I did a decent bit of Masters there, so I think it was only like 10 and 2 Elites, so it's not like that crazy of a number, but yeah, Mimics don't like me. The other big thing to talk about is maxing. Now, I've said for a few years now, I'm really not aiming to max. Maxing isn't like a big goal of mine, because I enjoy training skills, and once I don't have skills to train, I'll kind of lose a bit of motivation. And I also don't want to just max the easy skills and just leave the problem skills, because then I just won't want to play the game if I only can train skills I don't care about and don't enjoy. And 99 Agility was one of those problem skills. So now that I got 99 Agility, I want to work on a new problem skill so that, later on at some point, because, I would like to eventually have a max cape, I suppose, or it's not something I'm adverse to getting. It's just, I want to make sure I do it in a way that won't leave me, backed into a corner where it's just I have to train skills like Hunter, Runecrafting, and Mining, which are the remaining 3 problem skills. So I decided that the next problem skill I tackle is going to be Runecrafting. And I hope I don't regret that. But of the 3 skills, it kinda is the most annoying. Like, there are a lot of mining methods. And Hunter's also pretty fast and profitable, I just don't like it. But Runecrafting is slow, and there isn't that much that really varies. It's pretty much just Zaya or just normal Runecrafting. Because even ZMI is pretty much just normal Runecrafting, just slightly different. So that's what I'm going to do. My plan is I'm going to do Bloods till 95, because I did compare it to if I did Astrals or Double Natures, and it's just like the profit increase really is not worth it, because Bloods are worth so much right now. And the experience difference and, the effort difference, it wasn't comparable. But once I hit 95, I'll start to do Wrath runes, but I'll probably still do Blood runes. So that's what I'll be working on in the background. Don't expect to see this fly up anytime soon. It's going to be like Agility, where it's just something I do, between other things, and it probably might take all year. I might not even finish it this year, but that's my next problem skill I'm going to work on till 99, and then maybe after Runecrafting, well, there's still Hunter and Mining, but I'll probably be fairly close to maxing then, because, well, most of these skills are starting to look 99 now, so, And, the other reason I picked Runecrafting is because it would help with making money for goals like the Rapier, so there's that. And also, there are some 99s I am looking to get this episode that might be a bit familiar. But yeah, the other thing I want to do, and the reason I have this video, I just realized, I think this room used to be down there, and that was what was throwing me off. Words. But I want to come over to my adventure log here, because one thing I like to do is at the start of the year, review my logs and then reset them, and wow, I barely did any Slayer. I mean, I suppose that makes sense. I only killed 3 Brutal Dragons the entire year? How? Well, I mean, it makes sense because I did Wilderness Slayer, and the only task I had was Spiritual Mages aside of random ones I might have did for a clue or something. And, of course, I did those for the diary, but I'm surprised I really wonder how I only did 3 Brutal Dragons. Maybe I went to do some Brutal Dragons, then just was like, nah, I don't feel like it. Because usually I would, occasionally AFK them. Oh well. I don't know why that was only at 3. Maybe I reset at some point over the year. But for bosses, I'm actually fairly proud of myself. So, the main one you see here, okay, I actually didn't do that much mole as I thought. My mole KC is pretty good, but I didn't do much last year. But a decent bit of KBD, but mainly The wilderness bosses, I didn't do much vetting on because it doesn't matter if you have a task for that or not because you use a salve instead of the Slayer Helm. But for Venenas and Callisto, that's a decent bit of KC. It's not like that crazy, but it's decent. Same for Scorpia. And also did a decent, or not that much Zora, honestly. Got the Mugen at very low KC. But yeah, I don't know. I've at least tried for some. So I'll reset those after I finish recording this, because I know last year I tried to do that in the clip, and it did not go well. And the other thing to mention is, actually I did want to review the collection log a bit, and the counters. I know there's a few counters here that I haven't done yet, like, the Fragment of Saren, and I also need the Corrupted Gauntlet. But a lot of these cases, I never went and did a Galvic after the quest either. And the collection log. I don't think there's too much... I can't think of anything in particular to show. But, yeah. Oh, I did get the 20 enhanced teleport crystals, because I just like that pickpocketing method. So, I don't know. There's a lot of things here, though, to still work on over the year. I can't think of any particular tabs where I got very lucky aside from Zora and my mutagen. So, yeah. But the one thing is, remember how there's that whole pet pattern thing? Episode 20 broke the streak because I used to get a pet every 5 episodes, where it turned out the 5th episode, or episodes 5, 10, 15, the 5th episodes, I got pets, and then 20 didn't. But then 21 did, and then 23 did. So I'm still averaging a pet every 5 episodes. It's just not on every 5 episodes. I don't know, I just found that interesting. And the final thing to discuss is client stuff. So, at the end of last year, or in 2019, I changed the game size of my client to what you see now instead of the smaller window. And in 2020, I decided I am going to change my client, because following RuneFest, they did a bunch of stuff with clients, and they kind of have better guidelines on what clients can and can't do now. And because clients are in a more acceptable place, and a place I'm more comfortable with them, and, you know, I never really been super opposed of clients existing or such, I just personally, they didn't have any features that interested me. But I decided to, or back during Twisted Leagues actually, I decided to use RuneLite mainly for the library, because using Woox's website was not nearly as good as using a client, and that library was bothering me. But yeah, I am on RuneLite right now, and this is actually an official client thing now, not RuneLite. But yeah, the main thing though with using a client is I still want it to feel like the vanilla game, which is why you probably couldn't tell that I was on RuneLite. So I won't always use RuneLite either. I might, occasionally pop back on the vanilla client. In fact, since Twisted Leagues, I've just been playing on the vanilla client because there hasn't been anything I've been doing that needed RuneLite or any of its plugins. So when I am on RuneLite, I don't want it to feel like a harsh transition. So I will be avoiding plugins that really take away from the game experience in that sense. Like the GPU plugin, it's a cool plugin. I might use it in other series like that Hardcore Iron Man I've been talking about for ages and might eventually get to. But for this series, I would just want to keep it consistent, so adding the GPU plugin would make it, inconsistent with not only older videos, but if I go between Vanilla Client and RuneLite. So that kind of stuff I want to avoid. Same thing as I don't want, a whole bunch of, hover over text. Like, I know there's a thing, like, hover over text in the inventory. I'm considering it, but I feel like, those kind of tooltips, they're just not needed, and they will just make the game feel less like it is supposed to, I guess, or less like the vanilla game. But there are some things, I plan to use, like the health bars, the potion timers up here. But I want to, keep it very minimal. I don't want my screen cluttered with a bunch of things. So I want to try and keep the simple plugins, mainly the stuff you don't see, rather than, a whole bunch of stuff in your face. Like the toolbars off to the side here, and stuff like the anti-drag shift thing, so you can shift drop easier. That's something that is helpful, minor, pretty helpful though, and it won't really impact the video as much. So pretty much, to sum that all up in, I guess, better words, is I do want to use some plugins on RuneLite, but I still want to feel enough like the video or the vanilla client for the sake of videos. I don't want a bunch of overlays and a bunch of new text that make it feel like a very different experience. So if I do transition between vanilla and RuneLite, it's not going to be that noticeable of a thing. And like I said, I won't always be using RuneLite. It depends what I'm doing and what I feel like, really, because I really don't need any of the plugins. Some are just helpful at times. So, yeah. Anyway, I feel like this has been enough rambling just for another little update. So that's kind of where the series stands going into 2020. There's a lot of stuff I want to work on. I'm just not sure what I want to do at Slayer mainly. And, yeah. But I think I'm going to end it off there. So hopefully you guys are excited for more videos. And until then, goodbye.